Feeling good, like I should. Heading to the walk around in the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got the sunshine on my Sunday bed. Y'all, it's time for happy hour, and it's the weekend. Friday, July 24th. Put something in your glass. Get in those comments. Let me know where you're checking in from, guys. It's time to kick off the weekend. I'm in a great mood. I always depend on this song for my like roll into the weekend songs. I'm so stoked to be with you today. We're going to be talking about Rosato to finish out a great week on Italy today. Oh, feeling good. I don't know about y'all. Week's over. Feeling good. Weekend's here. Feeling good. Rosé in my glass. Feeling good. Happy hour time. Feeling good. All right, guys. Let's check in with some folks in the comments. Who's here today? Rick from Tulsa. 17 William Chris. Sangiovese from Phillips Vineyard. Great wine. We also make great Sangiovese Rosé. We're going to talk about that today. Chris Robinson with Veronica. Good to see you guys. Rinda, cheers. Tiffany, headed home soon for a Malibu breeze. Hey, I'm all about riding in with tropical drinks for the summer. All over it, especially at the pool, which, by the way, did I tell you guys I asked my neighbors if I could, like, swim in their pool? I was like, I'll trade you wine for pool time. And they were like, the wife was all like, oh, yeah, sure, no problem. The husband was like, nah, liability. What if you get hurt? So they poo-pooed the idea. But you don't get what you don't ask for, so can't say I didn't try. Alta, cheers from Frisco. Having some Malbec Rosé also. Chris in Chicago. What's up, Chicago peeps? Bill and Monica in Lake Jackson with some Las Gracias. So I love that wine. Asha flying solo today with a High Plains Rosé. Eric has literally gone fishing. Not gonna lie, being on the water sounds kind of nice right now, but I'm glad you're still joining us. Rayanne is having a shiner by the pool. I am jealous of you. Okay, the song is over. Guys, keep checking in on the comments. I'm gonna kick us off with some William Chris wine of the day. Then we're going to jump into Italian Rosato, and then you and I and all of us are going to kick off our weekend and get the heck out of here. Cool? All right. First up, guys, I'm so stoked because this is the first time I've been able to try this. This is a fresh off the bottling line situation. Malbec Rosé that was aged in concrete eggs from the 2019, the crazy 2019 vintage that lasted forever in harvest. From the High Estate. So guys, if you've been to the High Estate before, which I think probably all of you who are tuning in, I hope all of you who are tuning in, you guys know that just basically in front of the pavilion, if you look out at the vines, you're sitting on the pavilion and look out at the vines, that's our Malbec block. And so we harvest those, and we love to harvest part of that block early. So it's higher in acid, lower in sugar, which means lower in potential alcohol. And we harvest them specifically to make rosé. And the last couple times, we have been aging this wine in concrete. This year, this wine went into one of our concrete eggs. And guys, the concrete eggs always add this layer of minerality that I just can't get over. I'm obsessed with. So cheers, happy hour, happy weekend, happy end of the week. We survived another one, guys. Let's jump in. Okay, so right off the bat, for me, really nice tartness. It carries a nice citrus line. For me, this is more lemon, and like a little bit underripe, maybe like lemon pith. On the nose, it's slightly floral. Kind of think like white blossom, a little bit of peach. And then it actually, for me, it takes on a little bit of like this underripe melon note, like underripe honeydew melon with the lemon and tons of minerality, guys. I don't know if you're getting that, if you're having this wine with me or if you've tasted this wine, really great minerality. And that's what I love about a good rosé. Man, this is this is almost like squeezing like an alcoholic lemon on food. So when we think about this, again, age 7 months in concrete egg, I want to think about things that I would squeeze like a lemon or a lime on top of food wise, because it's got that really great citrus mineral note, nice line of acidity. I'm thinking you could do like a Tex-Mex salad with grilled chicken. You take a lime and like spritz that over the top. This would be great with that Tex-Mex salad, grilled chicken, or you do like a lemon grilled salmon. Again, you're going to take that grilled salmon, you're going to spritz a little lemon on top. That usually means that these very like lemon acid tart driven rosés are going to be perfect for that. And that minerality is just going to sing. The fruit, when you pair it with protein and those savory notes in the protein, what it's going to do is lift those like peach, a little bit of like maybe a little bit of raspberry and fruit notes up, because it's going to contrast the savory notes of the food. Absolutely, tacos. You could pretty much go across the board with tacos here. This is a great like pool summer wine. It's gonna, I will tell you this wine is not the kind of rosé that's gonna necessarily stand up to a lot of heavy grilled meats. And we're gonna talk about rosés that are more well suited. So we do have rosés that will hold up and stand up to those heavy grilled meats. This for me is a lighter, fresher style. So I would stick to things that, you know, like grilled fish. If you're gonna do grilled fish, salads, vegetables, even. This like don't get me wrong, the Malbec rosé is usually my favorite. I think let me take another sip. I need to test this again to rank it in the rosés. That's just like the last rosé we're going to release for the year, I believe. Actually, no, I take that back. I think I heard rumor about a skeleton key rosé, but time for me to start ranking these rosés. Cheers. Yeah, I think for me, this is going to come in like a solid second place to that Sangiovese rosé that we're sold out of. I really like this season, y'all. For whatever reason, this vintage, that Alta Loma Sangiovese rosé that we're sold out of. So if you got it, good on you. I got 2 bottles of it, and that was it, guys. This for me is a very close second. It's a totally different style. It's more tart. It's more mineral driven, and I like that. Like I want a mineral driven rosé by the pool that I can just pound, and it's going to be great for the summer. So go get you some. This rosé, and we're going to talk about this in these 3 things at the end, so don't miss it. This is in the white and rosé shipment. So if you're a wine club member and you're not already in the white and rosé shipment, you need to opt into that shipment, because I don't know how much we're going to have left over to sell to the general public and other wine club members. So, all right, we are going to talk about Italian Rosato today, but I'm going to check in the comments, see who else is here today before we jump into the wine nerd section. Doug and Alan with Brian and Eric. I love you got a whole team there. Checking in from Sugarland, having frozen margaritas. Guys, it's National Tequila Day, so if you're having margaritas, I feel you. Who else is here? Donna Miller Fouts, Randy and Donna in Clear Lake drinking pineapple lime with black rum. Oh my gosh. Yes, tropical drinks for the win. Brian, cheers from Alan as well. Got a good crew there, it looks like. Vicky, what are some bottles corked and others get screw cap? Oh, that's a good question. Like, let's just answer that. I love these like general wine questions. Vicky, sometimes, so first of all closures on wine bottles are the choice of the winemaker, usually dependent on the style of wine they're making. Some bottles that are corked, know that you're putting a cork in those bottles so that over time, small amounts of oxygen, very tiny amounts of oxygen, are going to be transferred into the bottle and into the wine to slowly develop that wine. Okay? Now, sometimes this is out of necessity. Sometimes, you know, you have to think like winemakers, they have to think about cost. And if you already made a big purchase of corks and you have some left over, maybe you decide to put a cork in the bottle. Screw cap, and this has changed. So screw cap used to be no oxygen transfer whatsoever. That was the old school thinking. You're going to either put a cork in it for a tiny bit of oxygen transfer over time, And then you're going to put a screw cap on it if you want absolutely no oxygen transfer over time. Now, technology is advanced now. You can actually choose screw caps by their oxygen transfer rate. So closure technology, and by closures I mean corks, both real and synthetic. They also have glass corks now. The screw caps all have different rates of oxygen transfer now. So winemakers and producers can literally dial in the exact oxygen transfer rate that they need for their wine so that it ends up in your glass exactly how they intended it. So right now, this is really all about personal choice. Sometimes it's about um, economics and economies of scale. So, it's expensive to do a bunch of different closures. Also, bottling lines that are expensive to use. A screw cap bottling line is different technology than a cork bottling line. So if you only have access to one, then you're probably just going to choose to do that all the way across. I will say this too, corks have this nostalgic feel for the drinker, for the consumer, that we're all attached to because it's been a part of the wine experience, and that little like pop of cork out of the bottle has been a part of the experience, even though it's not necessary anymore in order to get the same effect. So this is a great question, Vicky. Thank you for asking that. A lot of good information. Brian, first time live listener, long time late night listener. I love this. This makes me feel like I've made the like podcast big time, or like the radio show host. That you get the call-ins and they're like, first time caller, long time listener. Brian, shout out to you. Cheers to you, sir. Everybody say hi to Brian in the comments. Glad you're here live today. It sounds like you guys have a fun crew. Kind of wish I was there partying with you. I have high expectations for that group that's hanging out together. I need some good questions. I want y'all hopping in the comments because we're going to cover some nerdy stuff today. All right. Dottie Sue, Chris is asking Rose, just a pinky up white Zin. Okay. White Zin, guys, I hate to break this to you, is coming back in fashion. So before we jump into like all things Rosato, because that's what we're talking about today, White Zin got a bad rep. Let's just all agree. This is the wine that my mom had when I was growing up. I remember boxes. Anybody else? Boxes of Franzia White Zin. We'll slap the bag action. I didn't call it that when I was, whatever, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years old at home. And I saw the Franzia box sitting in the fridge, White Zinfandel. And the color of that wine was like deep pink, like magenta. Like you melted down the Crayola crayon magenta. And there was some pretty crappy wine. Let's be honest. Like Franzia White Zin, pretty crappy wine. White Zin also gave rosé, dark rosé, a bad name. And we're going to talk about that today. Gave dark rosé a bad name because people associated deeper colored rosé with sweet wine, because a lot of those crappy white Zins ended up keeping residual sugar or even adding sugar. You probably didn't know that. Adding sugar to the wine. We don't like that. So I'm glad you're talking about this. It is, yeah. Jennifer's saying we used to call it California Kool-Aid. Rightfully so. Now, hot tip right here, because we're not talking about this. This is like, you didn't even pay for this one. Whatever, you're not paying for any of this. This is another hot tip that we're not going to cover that you need to know about. I'm going to look straight into the camera. I take my glasses off. For those of you out there who take wine seriously, I need you to listen and to trust me. Go find a recent White Zinfandel from California and have your mind blown. Okay, that you didn't pay for that tip today. That's unrelated to any content. They have producers, young California producers are, let's call it like recapturing the heart of White Zin and perfecting it and doing it in a way that you and I and everybody should be drinking. So you didn't pay for that. Go get some California White Zin. That's some serious tips right there. Not going to talk about producers. You can go do your own research. Find some recent California White Zin from serious producers and have your mind blown, because it's coming back, and it's coming back in a great way, and I am so excited about it. All right, guys, it is time for the Wine Nerd section of the day. Cheers. Happy Friday. Happy weekend. Let's do this. Today, we're going to be talking about Italian Rosato. Y'all, we've been doing Italy all week. And I'm just going to like cap it off because I'm drinking the Malbec Rosé, and I was like, man, I want to tell y'all about some Italian Rosato that you probably don't know about, because people are sleeping on Italian Rosato wine, Italian rosé wine. So today we're going to be discussing Italian Rosato. Y'all know the drill. Drop into the comments. I want to know your questions. No question is a bad question. I like answering them all. Bada boom, bada bang. Okay. Real quick to clarify, Jeffrey, if you're in the 12 bottle wine club, do you still need to claim the white and rosé release? Yes, you do. The white and rosé release is separate from the regular wine club. So if you haven't opted into the white and rosé release and you're a wine club member, you need to separately opt into that. You can email during these three things. I'm going to tell you what you can do to make sure that that's you. Okay. Because you don't want to miss the pick pool. You don't want to miss the Malbec Rosé. Like you want to get that shipment. Okay. Let's jump in. First thing, I want to preface this, guys. There are a lot. I feel like there needs to be this like awesome background music right now. If I had like an audio producer, they'd be playing this like violin music. Da 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 da. Light colored paper thin rosés are great for porch pounding, for pool pounding, and just generally pounding. Okay. Easy, light, usually kind of uneventful, but still highly drinkable and refreshing. Okay. Well, today is the day where you learn about the other end of the spectrum. Enter Rosato. Rosato. To say it for yourself. Rosato. Italian rosé wine made with serious red grapes from Italy that carry more character than those, what I like to call, pink water products from Brangelina. Okay. Now, I'm not here to like completely poo-poo the Provence rosé, pale pink, basically water rosés, because I crush my fair share of those every year. There ain't nothing wrong with them. But sometimes, and by sometimes I mean most of the time for me now, I get bored with those and I want something with character. And the Italians, we know Italians have character. You know, they love to talk with their hands, they make amazing food, they have really very great vibrato. So let's talk Italian Rosato. You know, I have three things for you. Let's start with numero uno, okay? Thing number one you need to know about Italian Rosato today. There's a lot of words, all right? Rosato is what Italians call their rosé. It's made in the same methods as any other rosé, but it's unlike other rosé because it's often made with indigenous or native grapes rarely seen outside of Italy. Y'all remember when we talked about Nebbiolo from Piedmont? They make a rosé out of that. Y'all know Sangiovese in Chianti? They make a rosé from that. Y'all know Pinot Grigio? Well, they don't really make a Rosato, but they make a Ramato, and we're going to talk about that. Y'all, Montepulciano, Barbera, Nerello Mascalese from Sicily, Canaiolo, and yes, Nebbiolo, like I already mentioned. Fruit forward, savory rosé style wines that are fuller in flavor, but still just as easy and delicious to drink as the rosés that you're used to otherwise. Okay. Now, I want to talk about color here. So, you guys, if you're drinking this Malbec Rosé, this is a very light colored rosé. It's delicious. I love it. And the Italian Rosato wines, mainly because of this white Zinfandel thing I told you about, have a bad reputation because of how deep in color they are. Guys, please don't judge Rosatos based on their looks. Okay? Now, can they come in this kind of fainter color? Absolutely they can. But many have this rich tint. Think like raspberry and the color of pomegranate, maybe even ruby. It gets really deep. And we used to, in the back in the day, we used to be taught that meant darker rosés were sweet and cheap, but that's not true unless you're still living in the 70s or you're buying like $4 bottles and it's like the color of the magenta crayon. Okay, let that go. You need to let it go. Okay, we're just gonna throw it away. Just like, you know, I was reading my friend Marissa. No, I can't call her my friend. My acquaintance. I got to meet her last year at Wild World. Somebody I respect. Her name is Marissa Ross. She's a wine writer for wine enthusiasts, and she has this statement where she's like, let that crap go. Stop assuming single people with cats are emotionally unavailable. You know, it's the same idea of like, just because the color of the wine is dark pink doesn't mean it's sweet. You gotta let it go. That preconceived notion about white Zin that you used to have, let it go. Let it go. You're gonna miss out. Okay. The darker the wine, this is what you should know. The darker the wine, the more body and intense fruit notes the wine will have. And who doesn't want flavor? Like, come on. Like, I'm here. I drink the thing because I want flavor. I want intensity. So like the Brangelina, like pink water stuff that you barely taste. You're like, I don't know. Maybe it tastes like rosé. You know, like I can't get anything out of this because there's no flavor or character. Well, Italian Rosato has that, guys. And you get this like this wine that, while it's perfect for partying, and rosé, a lot of times, guys, you think about it, it's the party wine, right? It's at the pool, the music's blaring, somebody's maybe cooking on the grill, you're eating popcorn, shoving your face with like Reese's peanut butter cups, and I don't know, maybe that's just me, hot Cheetos. Rosatos, this is what I think about. Rosatos are chill enough to hang in the afternoon with you at the pool, but they're complex enough to stay for dinner. All right. They pair with anything off the grill. They got bright acidity, tart red fruit. And here's the thing, a lot of these grapes are known for their tannin, and those thick skins that tannin is gonna transfer even to the rosé, even though there's just a kiss of the skins. Okay. So hear this. Thing one you need to know, Italian Rosatos, they're going to be deeper in color, but that brings deeper character, deeper complexity, and the ability to stick around for dinner. Okay. Cheers. Before we hop into thing two, let's all take a drink. Mm. Mm. Mm, 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 mm. Great question. Okay, so here's what's happening right now with Alta's question. Guys, this is like bringing in prior knowledge of things we talked about earlier in the week. Nebbiolo, I told you, especially from Italy, Nebbiolo must age, and it needs time, and don't drink it when it's young. So this is a great question from Alta. Does Nebbiolo Rosé have to age? Not really at all. You can drink Nebbiolo Rosé straight out of the bottle immediately upon release. But the other question, maybe, which is a better one, can Nebbiolo Rosé age? And the answer is yes. It's one of the few styles of rosé, or rosato, because remember, it's in Italy, it's rosato. Rosé is a French word. So Nebbiolo Rosato can age, guys. If you forget about a bottle of Nebbiolo Rosato in your closet, in your wine fridge for a couple of years, 1, 2, 3 years, it's gonna taste amazing when you open it. Do you have to? Do you need to age it? No, absolutely not. It's ready to go. Open the bottle, crush it, enjoy it. It's gonna be great. Will it gain complexity, and will it be really interesting after another year or two? 100%. And it's one of the few rosés in the world that you can absolutely age. And that's actually gonna go for like all the rosés that we're gonna talk about today. And the cool thing about Italian Rosatos is most of them are made from these indigenous grapes that naturally have tannin in the skin, and when they transfer the skin contact to the wine and transfer those tannins to the rosé, it's not super intense, not going to be like sandpapery grippy like a red wine, but it's gonna have a little grip. All right, it's got a little bit. All right, I know my voice is getting a little high. It's got a little grip, a rosé with a little grip. That's why I say there's a rosé you can party with in the afternoon, but it's a rosé that's going to stick around for dinner. Okay, all right. Great question. These guys, like, I am like so elated inside about the questions that you guys are asking. It makes my heart so happy. Let's move on to thing two, because we all want to start the weekend. So I want to make sure I get through this in a timely manner, but so that you get some good informazione. That's information in Italian, I think. Maybe. I might be making that up just because I'm in a good mood. It's the weekend. We're talking about wine. Okay. The next two things, I'm going to introduce you to two styles of wine from Italy that you need on your radar that I want you to go look for. So let me actually take this off the screen. Before I hop into thing two, anytime you see Italian Rosato, and I'm going to pull up a map here, I want you to think about these different regions that we've gone through. So before we go into thing two, let's zoom in here. Remember Piedmont at the beginning of the week? We talked about Nebbiolo, okay? Piedmont makes incredible Nebbiolo. The same producers that make great Nebbiolo red wines make some Rosatos. So go find Nebbiolo-based Rosato. So Piedmont Rosé made from Nebbiolo. What about if we are in, what if we're in, and we're going to talk about this at the end, we're in Friuli, which is this little corner in Northeast Italy. They actually make a Ramato wine from Pinot Grigio. What if we're in Tuscany, D? Well, they make Rosato wine from Sangiovese. Incredible. What if we're in Abruzzo, which is like the bottom of the calf here? They make Rosato wine from Montepulciano. Everybody loves some Montepulciano. I know a lot of you out there know that grape well. Montepulciano di Abruzzo. That red wine grape also makes incredible Rosato, okay? So last but not least, excuse me, time to take a drink. Last but certainly not least is Sicily. Guys, remember we talked Mount Etna for a little while? Mount Etna has a grape called Nerello Mascalese, and they make incredible Rosato wine from Nerello Mascalese. All that to say, all the red grapes all over Italy, guys, that you already know make great red wines are going to make great Rosato wines. Cool. All right, now let's get specific here. Remember, I just talked to you about Abruzzo. Abruzzo is like the bottom of the calf, so it's on the backside of Italy. And there's a wine called Serrasuolo. Serrasuolo. Okay, I'm gonna give it a shot. Serrasuolo. Serrasuolo. You know, it's like the script spelling bee, and they ask you to pronounce the word like 8 times. You see it there on the screen. You can give it your best shot. The C is more like an S. Serrasuolo is a serious Italian Rosato hiding in plain sight. And why do I say that? It's because it's out there and you can get it and it's available in the store and it's not expensive. Serrasuolo means cherry in Italian. And these wines have a deep, almost garnet color. So very different than the pale Brangelina Provençal style from France. It's made from the Montepulciano grape. So you'll know Montepulciano di Abruzzo. Remember, di Abruzzo means from Abruzzo, which is the region. So Montepulciano wines from this region, that grape makes up 80% of wine production. So it makes sense that they would use those same red grapes to make some Rosato wines. This region is only about 2 hours east of Rome. You got to go across a little mountain range through the middle of the country. So William, Chris, wine trip, anybody, vacation, holla, holla. The designation is new, and this is one of the reasons I say it's hiding in plain sight. If you've never heard of Serrasuolo di Abruzzo, this is a brand new designation or name of a wine that began in 2010. So it's only 10 years old. And it nearly has the structure of a red wine. Flavors of pomegranate, strawberries, of course, cherries, because that's what it means. Think about like a little bit of lime juice and licorice notes. Plenty of structure from the skins of the Montepulciano grapes that make it great for the dinner. It can hold up to things like lamb and pork, pasta. You could even do it with fish because it still has a good line of acidity. Guys, Serrasuolo is an Italian Rosato wine that you need to go find. So think of it as the cherry colored wine from Abruzzo, Serrasuolo d'Abruzzo. It's going to be your friend. It is very deep in color, and you shouldn't be afraid of it. Cool? Love. Let's all take a drink. We've got one more style that I want to tell you about before we kick off the weekend. Time for a little more wine. Cheers. Happy hour. Chris is asking, can William Chris Rosés age? This is a good question. I'm going to go yes, limited, like 2 to 3 years post vintage. So if it says 2019 on the bottle, you want to drink in like 21 or 22? Yeah, like try it out. Why not? Overwhelmingly, the rosé wines that we're producing at William Chris are meant to be consumed now. Like get them in the shipment and drink it in the next week or month or couple of months. Malbec, thicker skinned than some other grapes. Mourvèdre based rosés, a little bit thicker skin. Remember the Bandol rosés? Bandol is like almost all Mourvèdre rosé, and it is some of the most ageable rosé in the world. I would say mostly we're drinking fresher style rosés that are meant to be consumed now. It's not necessarily similar to what they're doing in Italy. Good question though. I like where your head is. Brian saying not that natural one. You know what? We're gonna see. I'm gonna hang on to a bottle of that. I love that natural Malbec rosé. It's like salty watermelon juice right now, and I can't get enough of that. It's a great food wine. I think it's gonna age great, and I can't wait to see what it tastes like. We shall see. We don't know yet. It's a 2018, right? All right, thing number 3, and then it's gonna be time to kick off the weekend, guys. Thing number 3. This is actually a separate style of wine, but I'm putting it here because you need to know about it, and it kind of should be in the same category, okay? So, Rosato. So we've been talking about Rosato, but now I want to talk to you about Rosato, okay? Kind of sounds like tomato. If you're weird and you say tomato like tomato, Rosato is the unexpected rosé alternative, is technically an orange wine, but fits perfectly in the Rosato character. I can't talk, guys. But fits perfectly in the Rosato category. So this is a white grape with skin contact that makes it kind of an orangish, pinkish copper color. Okay. So the word Rosato means copper or auburn, which is a little more orangish in color. And it starts with a white grape or a gray grape, technically. Pinot Grigio from Friuli, which is northeast Italy near Slovenia, which I showed you on the map earlier, is a white grape. Guys, you guys are familiar with Pinot Grigio. You've had the white version of Pinot Grigio probably a lot. And sometimes, and most of the time, Pinot Grigio is very uneventful and very forgettable. And like, who cares about Pinot Grigio? It's like lemon water. It's what you drink if you don't want to think about what you're drinking. No offense to you Pinot Grigio drinkers out there. I just think it's very boring most of the time. Now, there are good quality production out there for sure. Rosato, for me, redeems the Pinot Grigio grape. So they take a white grape and they let the skin sit on the juice, and it transfers a little bit of the color and it turns like a copper pinkish color. So instead of Rosato, which like are rosé wines, where you take a red grape and you just let the skin sit with the juice for just a short amount of time and get a pink color, we're taking a white grape, Pinot Grigio, and sitting the juice with the skins and making a copper colored wine, and it's called Rosato. Now, again, this is from the Friuli region in northeast Italy. This is a very traditional style that a lot of new age producers, including in California, even in Texas, I know Randy Hester down the road on 290 is making some under his Ciel Buteau label. Really cool. Guys, they do 10 hours of skin contact, as is tradition, and you end up with a Pinot Grigio pink wine, copper wine, that has baking spice, dried fruit, tropical notes, and herbal aromas. And it's way more interesting than, again, that pink water wine that you get from southern France. Okay, good structure, good tannin, can hold up to food. You know, for me, I want to drink both Rosato wines and Ramato wines because of their intensity of flavor and their structure, which makes them more food friendly. The ability to party at the pool with you in a bikini or a Speedo or your favorite swimsuit and have be the life of the party and then stick around, put on, you know, like a nice button up dinner jacket, wedding gown, and stick around for dinner. They know how to play the part at both parts of the fun summer days. And that's to me what makes both Italian Rosato and Italian Ramato that much more interesting and drinkable in the summer because I can have it with the pool and I can have it with dinner. And I think that that is unique. So, Rosato is the overall style of rosé wines in Italy. If you see that term, go find a grape that you're normally fond of, whether that's Montepulciano di Abruzzo, whether that's Nebbiolo in the Piemonte region, whether that's from Etna, and you want to have some Nerello Mascalese Sicilian Rosato. You want to have some Sangiovese-based Rosato from Chianti, or you want to go to Friuli and have some Pinot Grigio Ramato wine that's more like an orangish pink, and get a way more interesting Pinot Grigio wine than normal. So, guys, that's been a lot of information about rosé, Rosato wine. It's time for the weekend. I'm going to make sure that there's not any questions I need to answer before I do these three things. You're going to want to hear this, so don't go anywhere. We're almost ready. Let's check the comments. Is it wrong to put ice in my rosé? You know, you do you, boo. Love you, Jeffrey. I think you're going to water down your rosé. It's better to pre-plan and get your rosé in the freezer for like 10 minutes before you're ready to open it and chill it. Unless you're going to do like a sangria situation, I would not put ice in my rosé because it's going to taste like what? It's already kind of watery. If you're doing like, I don't know, it's already lacking in flavor and substance unless you're doing Italian Rosato. So no, don't put ice in your rosé. I think you're kidding also. So, Alan, yes, I appreciate this. You say Rosato, I say Ramato. Guys, they're both good. You need to have both of them. Guys, I'm so excited. The time to tell you, I need poll information. We're not going to do these three things before. Next week, all week, we're going to do the Wine Nerd section, but I need you to vote right now. I need you to get in the comments. I need you to read this. It is time for our viewers to have a say in which country we focus on for happy hour for all of next week. You guys are driving this, so I want you to hop in the comments and vote right now. Which of these would you like to focus on next week for Wine Nerd section? A, South Africa, B, Australia, C, Portugal, or D, Austria. And I don't want you to put D just because that's my name. I do love Austria, and I'd be happy to teach you guys about that. This is not a quiz question. I actually want your opinion. Please go vote. I'm going to look at the votes later and think about what I'm going to teach on for the Wine Nerds section next week. I'm going to total up the tally. I need you to vote. Please, please, please vote in the comments. Drop in a letter or the name of the country. I'm happy to teach about any of these countries, and they have a lot to talk about and nerd out about. Grapes, regions, styles, the whole nine yards. We could go a lot of places next week. And this is the first time I'm letting all of you, because you guys are awesome and I love you, and it's been awesome teaching you, to have a say in what we study next week. So drop into the comments. Even if you watch this later, if you're a nighttime viewer like my boy earlier, whose name I already forgot, first time live watcher, usual nighttime watcher, vote in the comments, okay? And don't vote multiple times, no cheating, okay? I could teach about all these, and I'm super stoked to study all of them, okay? So that's the first thing. That's not a part of these three things. Tomorrow, guys, Chris and Catherine are doing 100% Texas Cabernet Sauvignon virtual tasting, 2 mini verticals, 14-15 from 2 separate vineyards. We've never done this before. These are libraried wines. You can still pick up the wines from curbside. So if you're not already opted in, take a little road trip, go pick it up at the winery before 4 o'clock, because that's when we're doing the virtual tasting. Get it, get it. Okay, this is information. I know Jeffrey was asking earlier, guys, if you are not already opted in, to the white and rosé releases, yes, you have to tell us specifically, even if you're a wine club member, that you want into the white and rosé to get this Malbec rosé that was aged in concrete. You need to shoot an email to the wine club email that's right there, and we will make sure that gets added on. It's so good, y'all. You don't want to miss it. This is 1B, an almost favorite rosé of the year, and we're sold out of the other one, so can't even get it. Last and certainly not least, I will be here Monday after the weekend, after I go party hard. Yeah, I'm gonna try and get on the lake. I gotta try and find a pool, guys. I just really want to be on the water. I tried asking my neighbor, it didn't work out. So I got to figure something out this weekend. But I'm going to be here on Monday. It's Mourvèdre Monday. And we're going to be tasting the 19 Mourvèdre Carignan Rosé. Have a great weekend. Guys, we're cheersing to Taylor Swift today because she just came out with a new album. And I have no qualms in saying, I think I'm already digging it. So here's the T Swift. Here's to all of you. Here's the good wine and Italians who make Rosato and Ramato, wines that are good for the pool and for dinner. Cheers, guys. See you next week.